In this session, we are going to design the final entity of the CPU, that is ALU. Okay. So far, we have designed all the entities of the CPU. That is, in fact, if you could remember, we are designing a CPU. In CPU, we design several entities. The first one is a register set, and the second one is, let us say, a control unit. In addition to these two, we have also designed our machine language instructions, our opcodes. Let us say we designed all these things. What are the different opcodes? You just go and have a look at my sessions about the instruction formats with respect to the location of the operand. That is memory reference, register reference, and IO instructions. Okay. Now, the final entity that is needed to be designed in this case of the CPU is ALU. Okay. Now, what is ALU? What is going to be performed in the ALU? Of course, ALU as you interpreted, ALU as you know, the ALU is arithmetic, and logical units. Arithmetic and logical unit. It is going to perform all the arithmetic operations and all the logical operations. Okay, now we need to design the unit which can perform all the arithmetic operations as well as all the logical operations. So before we design this, we need to understand what are the different arithmetic operations and what are different logical operations. Now, ALU will perform arithmetic operations. What are the different arithmetic operations? There are several different arithmetic operations. Those are addition, subtraction, incrementing, and decrementing. Okay, you people might be thinking like, why we are not using, why we are not clubbing multiplication and division. Okay, let us have a look at the multiplication and division. If you want to talk about multiplication or division, these multiplication and division are not even a part of regular mathematics. Even in the general mathematics, we have no operations such as multiplication and division. These multiplication and division are the derived operations of addition and subtraction. That's it. So my arithmetic should be primarily performing addition, subtraction, incrementing, and decrementing. These are the four primary operations needed to be performed by the ALU. Now you might ask me a doubt. Sir, anyhow, this incrementing, decrementing also is of, from addition and subtraction, right? This incrementing, decrementing also another flavor of addition and subtraction. As we are not, using multiplication and division, what is the point in incrementing and decrementing here? Simple point is, for incrementing and decrementing, I don't require two operands. For incrementing and decrementing, I do require only one operand. Okay, so it saves us one register transfer. Try to understand. For addition and subtraction, one register value R1 must be transferred to the ALU, and R2 should also be transferred to the ALU. Right? It requires the two different clock cycles. In one clock cycle, R1 will get transferred. In one more clock cycle, R2 will get transferred. But simply, if you want to perform incrementing or decrementing, now to the ALU, I should only transfer R1. Okay, I can say the second clock cycle which requires R2 to be transferred. The R1, if I can define the increment operation, ALU can automatically increment the contents of R1 directly without wasting one more clock cycle. Okay, but and one more thing is, this incrementing can be performed by the ALU automatically. Okay, and I don't, for in order to perform the incrementing, ALU doesn't require second operand. So for that reason, for incrementing and we are going to add the operations such as incrementing and decrementing to arithmetic units. Okay, so and what are the different logical operations? What are the different logical operations? Let us see. Let me write the logical operations here. Logical operations. There are a few logical operations. You know that there is something called AND, OR, NOT, XOR, XNOR, etc. There are several logical operations. My logical unit should be, it should be able to perform all these logical operations one at a time. Okay. Now, in addition to the arithmetic and logical operations, the ALU will also perform shift operations. Those are the ALU will also perform shift operations. Okay, what are the shift operations? There will be left shift and there will be a right shift. Okay, so if you want to design an ALU, what you need to do is you need to design three different units. That is, one unit is an arithmetic unit in which all the arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, incrementing and decrementing will get executed, will get performed. You need to design one logical unit in which all the logical operations such as AND, OR, NOT, XOR, XNOR, etc. will get performed. And when it comes to the shift unit, you need to design a shift unit which can perform right shift and left shift. Okay, so you need to design three different units and you should club them and you need to connect them together to make a complete ALU which can perform an arithmetic operation or a logical operation or a shift operation one at a time. Okay, now but before we design that, before we get into the details of the ALU design, we need to understand a few things. Okay, now if you could remember, when I designed the register set, I had three options. This register set can be designed in three ways: single accumulator, or general register, or stack. Okay, this control unit can be designed in two ways. One is micro programmed control, or hardwired control. Okay, now when it comes to the ALU, what is the option? Do we have any options? Do we have any special types of the ALUs? Okay, no, there are no special types of the ALUs, except the ALU can be of two different sizes. The ALU, I'm writing here, the ALU can be of two different sizes. One is 4-bit ALU and the second one is 8-bit ALU. Okay, before understanding this 4-bit ALU and 8-bit ALU, we just try recollect what is the word size in our system. If you remember, one word in our system is equal to 16 bits, right? So that is, a memory location is 16 digits, or any R1, R2 which holds the data elements is also of 16 digits. Now, when you want to perform an operation, between how many digits this operation is going to be performed? That is between two 16-digit number. Let me write it here. 1101 for an example. 1101, 1111, 1111. This is one 16-digit number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This is one 16-digit number, and there will be another 16-digit number. Okay, there is another 16-digit number. Between these two 16-digit number, any operation is going to get performed, right? Now, the thing is, where this operation is going to get performed? This operation is going to be performed in my ALU, right? The operation will be performed in ALU. Okay. Now, there comes the size of the ALU into the picture. Our word size, our architecture size, our CPU size, whatever you call, is equal to 16 digit, right? Yeah, our word size is equal to 16 digit. But in order to perform this operation, first of all, we need to understand what is the size of the ALU. Now, let us say the size of the ALU that we are designing is 4-bit. Okay. So, the ALU can support only 4-bit addition, rather 4-bit operation at a time. Try to understand how it is going to happen. Every ALU, let us say this is ALU, every ALU is going to have two local registers. Every ALU is going to have two local registers. Okay, namely S and T. First thing is, this S and T are local registers to the ALU. In addition to all the registers that we have discussed, ALU also has a few local registers. In fact, two in number. One is S, one more is T. What we do is, before we perform the operation, we should be able to feed this S and T with the operands. That is, we need to transfer the contents of the first operand to S, transfer the contents of the second operands to T. And now, my ALU is a 4-bit ALU, right? Now, you need to understand the total addition will be done in 4 stages. The total addition or operation will be done in 4 stages. That is, the first 4 bits will be added to the first 4 bits, next 4 digits to the next 4 digits, next 4 digits to the next 4 digits, and final 4 digits to the final 4 digits. Okay. So the ALU can perform only 4-bit to 4-bit at a time because the size of the ALU is 4-bit. Finally, the total operation, that is adding 16 to 16, will be performed because in 16-digit number, each and the total value will be divided into 4 different phases: least significant 4 digit, least significant 4 digit, next least significant 4 digit, and finally most significant 4 digit. So least significant LSBs will be added in the beginning. Next 4 bits will get added. Finally, next 4 bits will get added. Finally, the most significant 4 digits will be added within the ALU. Now the ALU will perform this operation in 4 stages because it is a 4-bit ALU. If it is an 8-bit ALU, the total operation will be performed in only 2 stages because it will get divided into 8-bit and 8-bit. This will be performed at a stage. This will be performed in another stage. That is it. Okay. Now, just understand, as my ALU is of 4-digit size, the addition or any operation will be performed in 4 different stages. That is a primary rule to understand. That is, before you start designing the ALU, the first question, being a designer, you should ask yourself, that is, what size I need to follow? Either am I following 4-digit or am I following 8-digit? Older days of computer system used to follow 4-digit ALU. Advanced computer system follows 8-digit ALUs. Okay. And the final rule, before we understand, before we design the ALU, the final rule is ALU takes ALU takes half a clock cycle to perform any operation. Any operation. That is, I have 4 stages and I want to add 16-digit number. No matter what is the size of the ALU, no matter how many stages are there, no matter your number should be divided into how many phases. Simple thing is, in order to perform this operation 16-bit to 16-bit, the maximum time that ALU is going to take is half a clock cycle. That is it. So ALU is really such a fastest device in the computer system, which takes a maximum of half a clock cycle for performing any operation. So you know that if you want to execute an instruction, finally the instruction should get into the ALU, and there we're going to perform either an arithmetic operation or a logical operation or a shift operation. For performing this operation, ALU will take a maximum of half a clock cycle. That's it. Having discussed this, now we are all set to design the ALU.